This episode is sponsored by the United Banks of Gehenna, where service is the way of life. Get an additional 10 soul loan by using the phrase Faerun History during the contract signing.
Why do demons and devils visit Faerun and offer deals on your soul? It has been a story told time and time again. But why do they do this? It seems absurd that they are willing to trade so much wealth for such a pittance. Well, let me explain. A good rule of thumb about mortal economics is that any kind of limited resource has value, be it land, time, people, or resources. But the outer planes are infinite in size, swimming in endless minerals, inhabited by demons and devils that are immortal, where time has no value. Then what is the scarce resource that everyone needs? The answer to that is souls, of course. Oh, souls are not the only thing we trade on the plains, but it is the underlying currency for everything that we trade. Why is this? Oh, let me tell you. Regardless if one is a devil or a demon, order among our underlings must be kept. While they like to use fear and punishment, greed is a far more effective means of keeping them in line. In order for rewards to be enticing for our loyal followers, they must be rewarded with something that is of use and is universally accepted. While I am sure a demon lord could just as easily stamp his symbol on a gold coin, what value does that hold to a night hag that must also trade with devils? A universally accepted system of currency is required, and this system must be based on what every participant in the market sees has value, which is where souls come in. But, I hear you say, since we don't see demons and devils dragging around sacks of souls, how do we go about trading them? The base value of a soul in the plains is not to trade like you would with gold, but as the souls of mortals that have been transformed into a maggot-like form, a larva. A larva can be evolved into a fiend, whether as demons or devils. Therefore, the larva itself has inherent value, since they can be used by fiends to form armies or replace their numbers. Most larvae are formed by godless mortals who have sunk to the lower planes, and are treated as the lowest denominator, much like when copper is compared to silver or gold. The more valuable souls are the larvae from the souls of the good and pious people of the realms, who have signed over their soul to a devil or a demon. The rarest and most valuable souls are from fallen paladins or corrupted clerics. The more potential your soul had in life, the greater its worth is in the afterlife. But I don't see any larvae being herded across the plains. How do you functionally trade with them? This is where the ingenuity of us fiends comes in. Invented by the Yugoloths, the soul gems link the larva in glowing gems. If the gem is destroyed, the soul is destroyed. If the soul is used for forming a new soldier in the blood war, it darkens and is worthless. You can tell the worth of a soul gem from its color. A lackluster yellow shine has the least amount of value. As a soul gem becomes more valuable, it would shift into tones of blue, with the most precious soul gems showing a rich purple hue. Soul gems are often stored in the bank that holds the soul larva, and the bank mints coins as currency to trade them. With these coins, they are considered a promise to exchange a sum of the coins for a soul gem. Although soul gems are rarely seen outside of very important transactions between the most powerful fiends, they are the underlying currency that gives worth to everything else in the lower planes. So, why does this economy never break? So long as there are wars and famines across the multiverse, souls will always be abundant and flowing freely. And the greatest war of them all secures that never-ending consumption of souls. Yes, the Blood War. Whenever there is a surplus of soul gems, they would be instantly purchased by the armies on both sides, and a recession will encourage soul harvesters to work even harder. You want to know why the demons invaded Myth Draenor? What gave rise to Hellgate Keep? It should no longer surprise you to know that it's related to the spike of soul gem worth. Demons and devils see Faerun as nothing more than a field of crop, where peace and prosperity are a drought, and invasions are a reaping harvest. What if the everlasting blood wars stopped? The economic disaster that would follow would be catastrophic. Billions would starve, trillions would lose their ability to make a living. It would be like the great wheel would stop spinning. The blood war may be awful, but not having a blood war is unimaginable, especially for fiends. But you heard that the blood war is over? Well, yes, a few years back, Asmodeus stopped the blood wars. The banks located on the crawling city would not want you to know this, but soul value has started to falter. Both sides of the eternal war are now hoarding cheap souls, building up armies of previously unimaginable size. The pressure is building. If the blood war does not start up again soon, we might see an army so strong it could crack the wheel itself. We live in dark times indeed.
As always, go with the word of Ogma, and like, share, subscribe.